Centuries ago, a Chinese general and philosopher named Sun Tzu wrote a book that outlived empires. He called it The Art of War, yet it was never truly about battles alone. It was about understanding life through the eyes of conflict, how people think, how they plan, and how they win or lose long before a single sword is raised. Sun Tzu believed that war begins in the mind, not on the battlefield, and that true victory belongs to those who can master themselves before they ever face an opponent. He taught that the first step toward victory is knowing yourself. To know your strengths and your weaknesses is to see your limits clearly. Most people fight blind. They act without understanding what they are truly capable of. A leader who doesn't understand his own power invites defeat. Sun Tzu wrote, "If you know yourself and know your enemy, you need not fear the result of 100 battles." In modern life, this wisdom is universal. The entrepreneur who understands his market and his own resources succeeds where others collapse. The athlete who knows his body avoids injury and trains with purpose. The individual who recognizes both his confidence and his flaws becomes resilient against failure. Once you understand yourself, the next law is preparation. Every victory, Sun Tzu said, is decided before the battle begins. Planning is not a luxury, it is survival. He taught that the wise commander wins first in his temple, then goes to war. The foolish one fights first and hopes to win later. Preparation is invisible, but it is everything. The great musician practices in silence for years before the applause. The successful company plans unseen strategies before launching a product. The person who prepares well turns chaos into opportunity. But Sun Tzu warned that plans must breathe. Rigidity is the death of strategy. The world changes, and so must the wise. He compared a strong mind to water, soft, adaptable, yet unstoppable. Water takes the shape of whatever contains it, flowing around obstacles instead of breaking against them. In today's world, adaptability separates success from failure. Businesses that pivot when markets shift endure. People who adjust to new realities thrive. Flexibility is not weakness, it is intelligence in motion. Among Sun Tzu's most famous ideas is the power of deception. He did not mean dishonesty, but strategic perception, the art of appearing weak when you are strong and strong when you are weak. In every field today, this idea lives on. A negotiator hides his leverage until the right moment. A company underplays its strength before a bold launch. An individual conceals his plans until action speaks louder than words. The essence of strategy is timing, and controlling what others see gives you control over how they act. He also taught that the highest victory is one won without fighting. To defeat an enemy without conflict is the ultimate mastery. In modern terms, this means solving problems through intelligence, diplomacy, and influence instead of force. The best leaders win loyalty without demanding it. The best teams overcome competition by creating better value, not by destroying rivals. Even in relationships, peace achieved through understanding is a higher form of strength than domination. True leadership, Sun Tzu believed, is not measured by authority, but by harmony. A general who inspires trust commands loyalty without shouting. A leader who treats people with respect earns commitment beyond obedience. In today's workplaces, a manager who builds trust achieves far more than one who rules through fear. Confidence flows downward. When people trust their leader, they will stand firm even in chaos. Another key lesson is the wisdom of choosing your battles. Not every conflict deserves your energy. Sun Tzu taught that victory lies not in constant fighting, but in knowing when not to fight. Some wars are won simply by walking away. In life, many waste years chasing arguments, proving points, or competing for validation. The wise person understands that peace of mind is often the greatest victory. Energy saved from pointless struggle becomes power redirected toward meaningful goals. Timing, too, is central to Sun Tzu's philosophy. Even the right move can fail if made at the wrong moment. He wrote that speed in war is not about rushing, but about precision, acting at the perfect time. In our era of constant motion, this teaching is gold. Success belongs not to the fastest, but to the most aware. The trader who waits for the right signal, the creator who launches at the right season, the person who speaks when silence has built curiosity, all practice the same principle. Knowing when to act is half of wisdom, knowing when to wait is the other half. Sun Tzu emphasized perception, the ability to see what others miss. The great leader reads patterns before they form. Just as a general once studied the dust on the horizon to guess the enemy's approach, a wise modern mind studies trends, moods, and signals. In business, it might be a shift in consumer behavior. In personal life, it might be sensing tension before it becomes conflict. Awareness allows preparation, and preparation turns fear into foresight. He warned that luck is not real strategy. Victories built on chance crumble when fortune shifts. Only calculation endures. Every decision, every step should have reason and rhythm. Random actions scatter strength, while thoughtful ones multiply it. Whether leading an army, a company, or a family, clarity of purpose is the compass that prevents chaos. The goal is not to move often, but to move wisely. Sun Tzu also taught that environment defines advantage. In ancient battles, terrain determines survival. Today, terrain might mean your industry, your team, your social context. The one who studies the ground knows where to stand. Understanding the field, the conditions, the people, the timing gives an edge that raw strength cannot. Those who ignore their surroundings fight blind. Those who learn them fight prepared. He valued resource management as much as courage. No army wins by force alone. It wins by endurance. A commander who knows when to rest his troops preserves them for the decisive moment. The same truth applies everywhere. The student who knows when to pause, the worker who knows when to recharge, the leader who prevents burnout all embody strategic wisdom. Victory is not about endless effort, but about balanced effort. Discipline, Sun Tzu said, is the backbone of success. Without order, even the strongest army collapses. Leadership is not shouting louder, but establishing clarity. Teams, families, or nations without discipline decay from within long before any external threat appears. Discipline is not harshness. It is harmony through structure. When people understand their roles and respect boundaries, energy flows efficiently, and chaos has no room to grow. He also warned that fear of failure is more dangerous than failure itself. Overcaution paralyzes, while reckless haste destroys. Wisdom lives between the two. Every great accomplishment demands some risk, but calculated risk, not blind leaps. The entrepreneur who studies risk and acts at the right time embodies Sun Tzu's balance of courage and foresight. Waiting for perfect safety means waiting forever. Progress belongs to those who move thoughtfully into uncertainty. Sun Tzu understood that not all wars are external. Some of the hardest battles happen inside the mind, between confidence and doubt, patience and frustration, vision and distraction. Victory over oneself is the foundation of all other victories. The person who can control anger, fear, and impulse is unshakable, no matter the challenge. Inner discipline produces outer power. He taught that brute force often signals weakness of thought. The leader who relies only on pressure fails to inspire loyalty. True power persuades, it doesn't intimidate. A leader who can win hearts will always outlast one who rules through fear. In every sphere, business, politics, family, influence built on respect is stronger than control built on fear. Sun Tzu believed that relationships, like alliances in war, must remain fluid. There are no eternal enemies or permanent allies, only shared interests that change with time. Wisdom lies in adapting, not clinging. In leadership or in life, this means learning to adjust to people, circumstances, and priorities. The wise captain sails with the wind, not against it. In the modern world, this is emotional intelligence, the ability to read situations, to step back when needed, and to advance when the tide favors you. Those who demand loyalty without flexibility eventually find themselves alone. He also said that loudness does not equal strength. True confidence is quiet. Deep waters move silently, and so do strong minds. A commander who shouts constantly reveals insecurity. A true leader commands calm. In every company, in every group, the one who listens more and speaks less often holds the real power. The loudest person in the room may seek control, but the calmest person already has it. For Sun Tzu, victory depended on harmony between leader and followers. Soldiers don't fight only for commands, they fight for belief. Leadership, therefore, is not about issuing orders, but inspiring purpose. In today's workplaces, the best managers make people feel they are part of something larger. At home, true parents lead by example, not demand. When people feel aligned with a purpose, they give their best freely. Harmony creates loyalty, and loyalty turns ordinary people into extraordinary allies. But Sun Tzu also warned against arrogance after success. He observed that the moment a general becomes proud, he begins to lose. After victory, he wrote, "Tighten your helmet strap." It means that the instant you relax, your downfall begins. In modern life, the same truth applies. The business that stops innovating after a win soon fades, and the person who stops learning after achievement begins to decline. Humility protects success by keeping the mind open. Every victory is temporary. The wise use it as fuel for growth, not for pride. Sun Tzu drew a fine line between courage and recklessness. Courage acts after thought. Recklessness acts without it. Society often celebrates boldness, but Sun Tzu reminds us that impulsive boldness destroys more than it creates. The true test of bravery is the ability to take a calculated risk, not to rush into every opportunity. In life, knowing which battles not to fight is as important as fighting bravely when it matters. Energy spent on every skirmish leaves none for the real war. He placed enormous importance on information, intelligence as the highest form of strength. Armies in his day used scouts and spies. Today, leaders use data, observation, and research. Whoever understands reality most deeply wins. Decisions made in ignorance are the same as marching in fog. Intelligence, he said, is the foundation of victory. The person who studies, listens, and learns continuously has already defeated half of his challenges before they appear. Unlike many thinkers of his time, Sun Tzu didn't glorify war. He saw it as a mirror of human nature, a place where clarity and chaos collide, exposing character. To him, war revealed who people truly are under pressure. That's why he taught that the greatest warriors are those who master peace. In today's terms, those who can stay calm under stress, who can find lessons in crisis, who can grow stronger from pain, they are the modern generals. Every challenge, every loss is a classroom if you approach it with awareness instead of fear. He believed that the true measure of strength isn't the size of the army, but the unity of its spirit. 1,000 soldiers with divided hearts cannot stand against 100 united by trust. The same principle governs companies, families, and communities. Disunity wastes power, harmony multiplies it. The group that shares one vision, one rhythm, becomes unstoppable. Division is disguised as independence. Sun Tzu admired flexibility in leadership. A good general adapts, a great one evolves. Plans should serve goals, not the other way around. In today's world, this is called agility, the ability to pivot when new facts emerge. Stubbornness is not strength, it's blindness. Many fail because they mistake persistence for wisdom. Changing direction after learning something new isn't weakness, it's maturity. True leaders revise their maps when they discover new terrain. He also understood motivation. He knew that soldiers fight harder for belief than for pay. Inspiration lasts longer than fear. A leader who earns respect through example has no need to threaten. When employees, students, or family members believe in the mission, they act with pride. Influence born of respect creates commitment that no rulebook can enforce. The heart moves the hand more powerfully than command ever could. Sun Tzu prized secrecy and timing. All warfare is based on deception, he said, meaning surprise, not lies. The element of timing transforms even an ordinary plan into brilliance. In the business world, releasing a new idea too soon or too late can decide its fate. In personal life, revealing intentions too early can weaken their impact. Strategy is as much about what you hide as what you show. He respected nature and reality itself as allies. A wise commander doesn't fight the wind or the mountain, he uses them. In human terms, this means working with circumstances rather than against them. Life doesn't always bend to your will, but it can be guided if you understand its flow. The flexible person moves like water, shaping itself to the container of the moment, carving paths through patience instead of resistance. Those who fight everything waste their strength. Those who flow with purpose reach their destination. Disruption, too, was part of his genius. He knew that order could be broken to create new order. Confuse your opponent, he advised. Change rhythm, and you change destiny. In today's competitive world, innovation is this same principle. The company that disrupts old patterns wins markets. The thinker who breaks conventional logic finds solutions others can't see. The artist who surprises the audience shapes culture itself. Chaos, when guided by vision, becomes creativity. Sun Tzu valued listening. He who listens well, he might have said, rules well. The leader who surrounds himself with silence and agreement is blind. Truth requires dissent. Modern leaders often fall because they only hear praise. Wise ones seek contradiction, because friction sharpens understanding. The strongest minds invite opposing views, knowing that real insight lives between perspectives. He warned never to be fooled by appearances. The quiet enemy may be the most dangerous. The calm surface may hide deep currents. Likewise, in life, outward weakness often conceals inner strength, and outward success can hide decay. The person who judges only by what is visible will always be misled. Wisdom is the art of seeing beneath the surface, to sense potential where others see emptiness, and danger where others see comfort. Patience to Sun Tzu was not inaction, but strategy. Every process, he said, takes time to mature. In today's culture of speed, this truth is revolutionary. Lasting success in relationships, business, art, or learning grows slowly. The seed cannot rush its bloom. Patience is not passive, it's the quiet confidence that time is your ally. The wise wait with intention, not idleness, preparing for the right moment to act. He said the greatest victories are invisible. The battle prevented, the crisis avoided, the argument avoided. These are triumphs without fanfare. The leader who prevents disaster before it begins saves more lives than one who wins wars. Likewise, the person who avoids toxic conflict or destructive habits is already a conqueror. Peace achieved through awareness is the most elegant victory of all. Sun Tzu warned that anger and revenge are the enemies of reason. Rage blinds the mind. Revenge burns the hand that holds it. A commander who fights in anger loses perspective. The same applies to anyone in modern life. Decisions made in emotion lead to regret. The investor who trades in panic, the parent who disciplines in fury, the friend who speaks in anger, all fight battles they later wish they hadn't begun. The calm mind is not weak, it is a shield. Serenity allows precision, and precision leads to success. He described the most subtle form of victory as influence, to make your opponent move where you want without him realizing it. This is mastery of perception. In leadership or negotiation, the highest power is quiet control. To guide without forcing, to persuade without demanding, that is the mark of true strategy. The best communicators don't overpower others. They lead them to conclusions through insight. In personal life, this means inspiring change, not imposing it. Sun Tzu reminded his readers that victory is not an end but a means. The purpose of battle is peace, not conquest. A wise general fights to restore balance, not to glorify his name. In our modern context, success pursued only for ego destroys itself. Achievements should serve stability, growth, and meaning, not vanity. History is full of conquerors who ruled for a moment and vanished in dust because they fought for pride, not purpose. He taught the art of stopping. A leader must know when to end a fight, a project, a season. The greatest mistake after triumph is overstaying victory. Continuing to fight after the goal is achieved turns power into poison. In life, knowing when to walk away from conflict, from habits, from relationships is as vital as knowing when to persist. Maturity means recognizing enough. For Sun Tzu, human nature never changes. The same principles that guide armies guide individuals: clarity, balance, and foresight. His teachings endure because they speak to universal patterns: the rhythm of preparation, the dance between caution and courage. The battlefield is just a metaphor for existence. In every field, art, business, family, we wage invisible wars of ambition and fear, of doubt and determination. He saw defeat not as a curse, but as a teacher. Every failure reveals a hidden weakness, and every loss teaches strategy. The intelligent leader studies his defeats as carefully as his victories. Modern life proves the same truth. A failed venture often brings more insight than an easy win. The person who learns from failure becomes immune to despair. Those who refuse to reflect are doomed to repeat. Sun Tzu also emphasized morale, the invisible fire that keeps people moving. Armies fall not because of casualties, but because of despair. Likewise, a team or individual fails when hope runs dry. Motivation, he said, is stronger than weapons. The leader who can inspire optimism can turn exhaustion into effort. In any endeavor, belief in purpose is fuel. Without it, even talent fades. He distrusted luck. Fortune, he said, smiles briefly but never stays. Lasting success comes from preparation and adaptation, not chance. The gambler may win once, but the strategist wins consistently. In life, those who rely on external fortune, trends, inheritance, applause will eventually collapse. Those who build skill and discipline stand firm no matter how the wind changes. Sun Tzu also observed that celebration blinds. When people rejoice, they stop learning. The general who celebrates too long forgets to guard his gates. The same happens in modern life. The company that stops improving after success, the artist who stops training after fame, the person who stops reflecting after triumph, all decay. Wisdom lies in quiet gratitude and continued vigilance. Time, he wrote, is the only resource that cannot be replenished. Managing time is managing life itself. Strategy is timing. Power is timing. Even love and art depend on timing. The one who understands the moment controls it. Those who waste time in hesitation or distraction lose unseen battles every day. The future belongs to those who respect each hour as an opportunity. He taught that confidence must walk hand in hand with caution. Overconfidence blinds, but doubt paralyzes. Balance between faith and skepticism keeps the leader awake and aware. A little uncertainty sharpens the senses. Too much dulls them. The wisest people believe in themselves enough to act, but question themselves enough to grow. Emotional control, to Sun Tzu, was not coldness, but mastery. A leader who loses temper loses authority. Emotional stability radiates security. It calms followers and unsettles opponents. In modern life, those who remain steady in crisis are anchors for others. Their composure inspires trust. Self-control is silent leadership. He repeated that wars are won by thought before they are fought by hand. Long-term vision outlives short-term passion. He compared it to planting trees. The one who thinks in years reaps fruit, but the one who thinks in centuries grows forests. Modern societies, he might say, need this same patience to invest in education, character, and truth rather than in momentary game. Greatness grows slowly, noise fades quickly. Sun Tzu knew the hardest battle is internal, against laziness, fear, and ignorance. The one who masters these inner enemies has little to fear from external ones. Self-mastery brings freedom, the freedom to choose calmly, to respond wisely, to live deliberately. Control over oneself is the highest form of power because it cannot be taken away. He also believed that peace requires strength, not weakness. The one who can fight but chooses not to is the true peacemaker. Restraint is the art of strength in silence. Building bridges instead of burning them, seeking understanding instead of domination, these are acts of courage. Peace, in Sun Tzu's eyes, is not surrender, but enlightenment, the realization that conflict is not the only path to change. And in the end, simplicity was his greatest wisdom. The universe, he implied, favors those who think clearly and act simply. Complexity confuses, simplicity cuts through noise. Whether leading armies or living daily life, the essence of strategy is clarity, to know what matters and to ignore what does not. The leader who understands human nature can lead anywhere. True intelligence, Sun Tzu taught, lies not in endless victories, but in choosing which wars to fight. The wise person avoids unnecessary conflict, directs energy toward what endures, and sees life as a series of opportunities to understand rather than dominate. Sun Tzu believed that the ultimate power lies not in destruction but in understanding. The purpose of all strategy, he taught, is balance, to bring harmony out of chaos, not to create more of it. A true leader doesn't fight for glory or hatred, but for stability and order. Throughout history, the wars waged for greed have ended in ruin, while those fought for peace and justice have built civilizations. In today's world, this lesson still rings true. Success must serve humanity, not consume it. Real strength is measured not by how much you can take, but by how much you can protect. He warned that endless fighting, even in victory, leads to exhaustion. The warrior who never rests eventually becomes his own enemy. There comes a time when continuation turns triumph into tragedy. Wisdom is knowing when to stop, when to declare the mission complete, and when to walk away. In modern life, this lesson applies to ambition and obsession. Not every mountain must be climbed, and not every goal pursued forever. Maturity means learning to let go with grace, to stop when success has already been achieved. Sun Tzu believed that the principles of conflict apply to every human endeavor, because they reveal eternal truths about behavior, will, and perception. Every challenge we face, from building a business to raising a family, is a kind of battle between chaos and order. The same traits that win wars also build dreams: patience, preparation, adaptability, and calm. His ideas endure because they speak not to soldiers but to souls. He saw defeat as a lesson, not a label. A loss, he wrote, is simply a teacher wearing different clothes. Every mistake shows you where you were blind. The wise study their losses the way scientists study experiments, without shame, without denial. In the modern world, this means taking responsibility, not hiding from failure. The person who learns why they failed gains a blueprint for success. Losing is temporary, learning is eternal. For Sun Tzu, morale, the invisible flame of purpose, was the true weapon of victory. Armies win not through weapons, but through will. In everyday life, this translates to motivation and belief. A person with purpose can overcome exhaustion, obstacles, and fear. A team united by belief can achieve the impossible. Motivation, unlike money or power, cannot be stolen, it must be cultivated. He distrusted luck because it weakens discipline. Fortune is a visitor, not a friend. Those who depend on chance lose when it leaves. The disciplined remain steady because their victories are built, not borrowed. Success that endures is never accidental. It's the result of small, consistent choices made with clarity and intent. Sun Tzu also warned that celebration is a dangerous distraction. Joy without reflection invites carelessness. The general who celebrates too soon leaves his gates unguarded. In our time, people and organizations fall into the same trap. Success breeds comfort, and comfort breeds decay. The wise enjoy victories quietly and keep sharpening their minds, knowing that every end is the start of another challenge. He saw time as the most valuable weapon and the most merciless enemy. Once a moment passes, it can never be reclaimed. For him, strategy was a dance with time, using it, not wasting it. The modern warrior manages hours the way the ancient general managed troops. Every wasted minute weakens your position. Every wise use of time strengthens it. Sun Tzu balanced confidence with awareness. Overconfidence blinds leaders to danger. Paranoia freezes them in place. The path of wisdom lies between. Believe in yourself, but not blindly. Question everything, but not endlessly. Those who walk this middle path see reality clearly and act with purpose. He valued emotional composure as a shield stronger than armor. Leaders who remain calm in chaos inspire courage in others. When people see steadiness in your face, they borrow your calm. In times of crisis, composure is contagious. Self-control is not suppression, it is focus. The one who can stand still in the storm becomes the anchor everyone needs. Sun Tzu always returned to the same principle: wars are won in the mind. The greatest commanders think decades ahead. They plant trees under whose shade others will sit. The impulsive win applause. The patient build legacies. Vision that looks beyond the present moment turns temporary success into lasting impact. Every great achievement in art, science, business, or society began with a long view. He believed that the hardest and most important war is the one fought within. Laziness, fear, ego, and ignorance, these are the true enemies of progress. The person who defeats them becomes unshakable. Self-mastery grants freedom, freedom from distraction, from reaction, from the endless pull of circumstance. To govern oneself is to hold the highest form of power because no one can take it away. Sun Tzu saw peace as strength, not surrender. Only the strong can choose peace because only they control their aggression. Restraint is power, discipline is freedom, and compassion is a weapon few understand. In a noisy, reactive world, the ability to remain kind, patient, and firm is revolutionary. Peace is not weakness, it's mastery over violence. And at the core of all his philosophy was simplicity. The world is complex, but truth rarely is. The most effective strategies, he said, are simple, not easy, but clear. See things as they are, not as you wish them to be. Cut through illusion. Focus on essentials. Simplicity reveals strength because it leaves no room for confusion. The Art of War is not a book about killing. It is a book about thinking, about how to act wisely in a world driven by conflict and desire. It teaches that every fight, whether on a battlefield or in a meeting room or within one's own heart, is governed by the same laws: awareness, discipline, and balance. The goal is not domination, but understanding. And so, the lesson endures. Victory is not in defeating others, but in mastering yourself. Success is not in winning every battle, but in knowing which battles are worth fighting. The ultimate wisdom is to live intentionally, to plan with patience, act with clarity, and move with purpose. Know yourself, know those around you, and never enter a battle, in life, in work, or in spirit, without knowing why you fight.